my gosh, I failed this exam. I guess I'm gonna continue failing. No! Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Psychology with Khian. As a lot of you know, I'm a psych major at UBC. Wait, you know what? Nobody really knows because I'm not that famous after all. Oh my, I'm not even sure if I should feel happy or sad right now. But anyway, yeah, I'm a psych major at UBC. This is my first episode of Psychology with Khian. Before I get on, I'd like to say specifically that I've actually written a blog post on content that I'm sharing right now. It's on the Wellness Proposal. The Wellness Proposal is a non-profit organization which I'm in. I'm a research blogger in there, and I summarize research papers so that the public can understand psychology better. Yay! I put the link to the original blog post in the description, so make sure to check it out. Hard sales here again. The shirt today is sponsored by FnK Concept. The reason I'm wearing this in the past videos is because I like this. It actually feels really good, and it's pretty trendy as well. You can check them out on Shopee or Lazada for cool products at reasonable prices. Okay, without further ado, today we'll be talking about thinking style. Well, from what we know from the psychological literature, a maladaptive explanatory style is a huge factor that predicts learned helplessness. Whoa, a lot of mumbo jumbo jargons in here. We're on YouTube, man. We don't want mumbo jumbo jargons. We want simpler terms so that everyone can understand. Let's look at the first term, maladaptive explanatory style. Let's look at what the word maladaptive means. Well, maladaptive is the opposite to adaptive. And we know that we want to adapt to the environment to be able to live so that we can give birth to offsprings and that we can survive. So anything that allows you to adapt or anything that is adaptive is a good thing. So maladaptive, anything that allows you to not adapt, bad thing. Explanatory style. Well, explanatory style essentially means the way that you think about why a situation happens. How you explain to yourself why something happened. There are three components to explanatory style. These components are stable or unstable, global or specific, and internal or external. Again, lots of mumbo jumbo jargons, but do not worry, we're about to break it down. Stable or unstable refers to continuity, whether or not something is likely to happen again. For example, if you fail an exam and you have a stable explanatory style, you're likely to think that you're gonna continue failing. It's kind of like, oh my gosh, I failed this exam. I guess I'm gonna continue failing. No! Well, obviously that's pretty maladaptive. Well, if you have an unstable explanatory style, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I failed this exam. But you know what? I'm not gonna continue failing because, you know, I'm a resilient person. I'm gonna work hard, I'm gonna bounce back up. Stable or unstable, that's it. Continuity, not as hard as we think. The second component, global or specific. This refers to generalizability. So whether or not one situation generalizes to other situations. Let's look back at the failing the exam example. If you fail an exam and you think that this is a global situation, it's gonna be like this. Oh my gosh, I failed my math exam. Guess I'm gonna fail in history, geography, psychology, and all the other exams. I'm gonna fail in all the other exams. You think that failing in one exam, this situation is gonna generalize to all your other exams. If you have a global explanation for this situation, that's how it's gonna be. On the contrary, if you have a specific explanatory style for this situation, it's gonna look more like this. Oh my gosh, I failed my math exam. But hey, you know what? It's because I didn't study hard enough for this math exam. I'm not gonna fail in my history, geography, and Chinese exam because I've studied hard enough for these and I'm prepared. I'm not gonna fail in these other exams. And that's global or specific. The second component, generalizability, whether or not this situation is gonna generalize to other situations. Well, now let's get to the third component of explanatory style, and that is internal or external. Well, if you have an internal explanatory style, you explain the situation as stemming from your fault or ability or capability. Let's look back at the failing exam example. If you have an internal explanatory style, it's gonna look like this. Oh my gosh, I failed this exam. I guess it's because, well, I'm just not talented in math and I'm just bad in math. See, in this situation, you're kind of blaming yourself. You are attributing this failure to yourself, your fault, your capabilities. On the contrary, if you have an external explanatory style, it's gonna look something like this. Oh my gosh, I failed the math exam. Something must be wrong, you know. Maybe it's the weather that's making me feel unwell. Maybe the math exam is just significantly harder than usual. You see, in the external explanatory style, you're attributing this failure to other things that you perhaps have no control over. We have looked at these three components of explanatory style: stable or unstable, global or specific, internal or external. And to be honest, there's no right or wrong explanatory style. It just depends on the situation. I'm sure you can tell, a positive person when looking at a bad situation is gonna have an unstable, a specific, and external explanatory style. And the same positive person is gonna look at a positive situation as being stable, global, and internal. While on the contrary, a negative person when looking at a bad situation is gonna look at it as being stable, global, and internal. And then this same negative person is gonna look at a positive situation as being unstable, specific, and external. And of course, as you can see, this negative person that I just described has a maladaptive explanatory style. Well, I'm not saying that you have to be Mr. or Mrs. or positive person all the time. It's gonna vary, but if you consistently have a maladaptive explanatory style, that is actually a precursor for depression. But you know what? It's not really clear because psychologists can argue also that maybe it's the depression that's making the person have a maladaptive explanatory style. Either way, having a maladaptive explanatory style is not a good thing. Again, because I mentioned depression, I don't want people to think that having a maladaptive explanatory style is like the main cause of depression. It is not. It could be a precursor or it could be a symptom, but it is only one of the many characteristics, qualities, or even causes of depression. Only one. There are many symptoms and causes of depression, and a maladaptive explanatory style is only one of them. Again, I'm not saying that if a person have a maladaptive explanatory style, that person is depressed or has depression. Don't go around diagnosing other people, man. Like, you gotta be a professional to do that. I'm only a psychology major. I'm just sharing what I know. Take home message. In today's Psychology with Khian, I'd like to leave you with 3 questions. Whenever you feel that you're having a maladaptive explanatory style, try considering these 3 questions. Number 1, is this situation likely to happen again? Or is this situation stable or unstable? Number 2, will other events be similar to this event? Or is this situation global or specific? And last but not least, number 3, did this happen because of my own doing or because of some other factors out of my control? Is this situation internal or external? Again, I'm not saying that you should think in a particular way. In fact, it is extremely subjective to determine whether or not someone has a maladaptive or an adaptive explanatory style. Step back and think about which type of explanatory style I'm using. If I know that I'm thinking in a way that won't help me in any way, or if anything is making me feel worse, then yeah, I know that I'm thinking in a maladaptive style, or I'm having a maladaptive attributional or explanatory style. On the contrary, if I feel that I'm thinking in a positive, rational way that's helping me feel better and actually get things done, then yeah, I'm thinking in an adaptive style. My explanatory or attributional style is adaptive, making me survive and adapt to the tough situation. Yay! And that's all for today in the first episode of Psychology with Khian. If you like such videos, please let me know. Before I go, I'd like to say again that the link to this original blog post that I wrote is in the description. Check out the relevance proposal. We are a big group and I think that you can learn a lot about psychology. Also, I'd like to give credits to our sponsorship for today, FnK Concept. Make sure to check them out on Lazada and Shopee for cool products at reasonable prices. That's all from me today, Psychology with Khian episode 1. I hope this is a success. That's all from me today, and until next time, I'm out.